Good morning, gentlemen. Year eights. I won't be in because I haven't been well the past few days. I've had a fairly bad flu. The only good thing is that it's not COVID, so that's okay. And hopefully, I'll be back on deck tomorrow with a bit of luck. Now, this morning's lesson, what we need to be doing is to be revising algebra. Now, we go to the class page and then the unit page. The unit page, of course, is algebra, so we go there. And we see where we're up to in the work outline. The work outline's 5A through to 5D. We're not doing E and F. Then we're doing 5G and 5H. Now, there's more than enough material here for you to do your revision. Miss Sangari and myself have done quite a few videos. There's a video for each section, and there's also worksheets and whatnot for each section, but there's a video. So in your revision this morning, I want you to make sure that you're up to and including 5H, which is factorizing. So let's have a quick look at revision. We started off with 5A, right, which is a language of algebra. We need to know the terms. We need to be able to know what they mean, the definitions, and how to use them. So we need to be able to do that. That was 5A. So go through, make sure you have these things in your summary book. That could also be for this morning. Make sure your summary book is up to date. And then you can do those exercises. Everyone should be completely familiar with that. Then we moved on to B, which is substitution and equivalence. The whole point about algebra is that it's a what if, so we don't have an exact value or even a known value for a pronumeral or a variable, and we can put a value in. So that's called substitution. And we can also look at equivalent terms, which we've done as an exercise in algebra, in fractions being equivalent fractions. Okay, so again, in that section, make sure you have got examples of how to do those in your summary book. Then we looked at, excuse me, adding and subtracting like terms. Now, like terms are terms that have the exact same pronumeral or variable, exactly the same one. And it's often called collecting the like terms, which means to add or subtract the like terms, only the like terms. Again, have the definitions of how to do these, and examples, I should say, of how to do these in your summary book. That will help you in a test and also in any exam. Now, when we substitute, we can substitute into formulae, like area equals LW, length times width. Well, that is an unknown. There could be an unknown length. So if I added this one and this one, this one, and this one, it then comes up to P, the perimeter. That would help me to find X. I don't know what X is, but this length is 7 times the length of X, and this length is 4 times the length of X. So 7X plus 7X plus 4X plus 4X will equal P. I add them up, that's what I have, and then I can find out what X equals. So there are many areas in which I can apply it, so make sure that you have that and examples of how to do those in your summary book. Now, we can multiply and divide terms. Any terms can be multiplied, and you can see that here. 4AB times 3C, 4 times A times B times 3 times C, and in algebra, there's no multiplying sign between pronumerals or variables. And when we divide, we can cancel down, same as we do with a fraction, or we can cross cancel. Across here, you can see that 12 times A times B, 9 times A times D. You see that 3 goes into 9 3 times, it goes into 12 4 times, and A cancels out A, and we're left with 4B over 3D. Again, make sure you have examples of how to multiply and divide fractions, including squares. 10a squared over 10a squared BC over 12ac, and go through and get examples into your summary book. We can work out area ones as well, because area equals length times width. Now we're not doing 5e and 5f because we're sort of covering them in a way. So then we move on to 5g, which is expanding. Now expanding is to multiply out the brackets. Now that means that anything, that's the distributive law, and it means that anything inside a bracket is multiplied by whatever is outside a bracket. So here, 2 bracket 3 minus 7b becomes 2 times 3, which is 6, minus 2 times 7b, which is 14b. So that's 6 minus 14b. You can have a look at the lesson starter here, and you can find out with an unknown, and you can find out which way it can be applied there. And this is called the distributive law because we take A, whatever is outside the bracket, and distribute it across whatever is inside the bracket. Remember always to do all the terms inside a bracket. And like I've said, this can be used as an area. See, because area is A times B, and then A times C for this one here. So we're going to have A times B for the area, and then A times C for the area. And of course, A is a common factor, so that becomes A bracket B plus C. The area equals AB plus AC. So that can be done that way. Again, get examples, especially if you're not too sure of how to do those, into your summary book. And that brings us up to 5H, which is factorizing, which is the exact equal and opposite, or opposite and equal, which is called the inverse in mathematics. So what we're doing here is, instead of multiplying out a bracket, we're going to be putting a bracket in. So if we have an example like this one, excuse me, 6x plus 15, highest common factor will be 3, because it goes into both 6x and 15. It can't be x because there's no x in 15. So it's 3 bracket 2x plus 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So when you're factorizing, you're taking the highest common factor and putting in a bracket. So then you have this multiplied by what's ever in the bracket here. So you've got 2 terms that are multiplied, a bracket and what's outside the bracket, using highest common factor. Again, get examples of how to do those in your summary book. So want everyone to be able to be up to here. Do some revision this morning to get rid of the holiday cobwebs and make sure that we are ready to go on with applying algebra. So there's, like I said, there is plenty of videos here. If you are up to applying algebra, you can start on that this morning. If you're not, make sure that you have the work outline done and or examples of how to do things in your summary. Thanks, fellas.